Chapter 1, Marketing's Value to Consumers, Firms, and Society. This is from the textbook Essentials of Marketing, edition 13E from McGraw and Hill. Authors are Peralt and Macaulay. By the end of this class session, you'll have 8 interesting topics that you'll learn about. You're going to discover what marketing is and why you should invest the time to study it. You'll understand the difference between marketing and macro marketing. You'll know what the marketing functions are and why marketing specialists are developed and how they work with intermediaries and collaborators. You're going to understand what a market-driven economy is and how it adjusts the macro marketing system. You're going to know what the marketing concept is, and this is first and foremost very important to both profit-oriented firms and non-profit firms. You'll understand what customer value is and why it's so important to achieve customer satisfaction. In the context of ethics, marketing ethics, and social responsibility, we will relate that to the marketing concept, and you'll learn many new terms. So let's get started. The management job in marketing. Many people are surprised when they realize how many different ideas and activities are included in the term marketing. Most people think that marketing involves selling and advertising. They think it's just persuasion and moving product and selling. But it's far more than this. So let's take an example and use a company, a bicycle company, one that's been around for years and years, maybe 100 years. Bicycles have been with us for at least 250 years. So let's think about if we were a manufacturer of a bicycle, and we would have many brand names. There would be different types of bicycles and with different features, and the prices could range from very low to very high. So let's think about how to understand marketing in the context of a bicycle manufacturer. In order to succeed in creating a bicycle or other products and services, there's a whole series of tasks that are involved in producing the product or delivering and producing the service. And it's possible to get a feel for a wide range of activities just by going through this set of tasks. First and foremost, we've got to analyze the needs of people for various models of bicycles. So throughout this whole course, our emphasis will be upon needs, first and foremost, needs and wants. We have to analyze those needs. Second, we have to predict wants. We have to predict in the context of a bicycle company, we have to predict the types of bicycles consumers will want and decide which consumers to satisfy. We're going to have to estimate the number of bicycle riders and how many bicycles they may want to buy. We're going to have to predict when consumers will want to buy. We're going to have to determine where the consumers will be and how to get the bicycles to them. We're going to have to estimate price consumers are willing to pay for a bicycle, and if that price will result in a profit for the firm. We'll have to decide what kinds of promotion should be used to inform consumers about the firm and its bicycles. We're going to need to estimate the impact of competition from other bicycle producers. And we're going to have to determine how to provide customer service if a customer has a problem after purchasing a bike. So these are the tasks that all are encompassing in the marketing function, marketing planning function. So let's discuss how production and marketing are related and how they differ. They're both fundamental economic activities, but some people misunderstand the relationship between them. So it's good to have a clear picture of how production and marketing interact with each other. Production involves the making of goods or the performing of services. products don't sell themselves. They may have 100 years ago, but they don't anymore. So marketing makes sure that the right products and the right goods and the right services are produced, and it creates customer satisfaction. So the extent to which a company fulfills a customer's needs, desires, and expectations. So that's marketing. We make sure the right goods and services are produced, and the production function actually makes the goods, performs the services, with the ultimate objective being the creation of customer service. So marketing is very important. It's important to you, it's important to the individual in many ways. It's a persuasive activity. The key to marketing is persuasion. So throughout this course, we will address the three elements of persuasion: emotion, logic, speaker credibility. But it's something that eventually touches everyone, and it dramatically affects people's daily lives. So the principles learned in this marketing course are directly and immediately applicable to our daily lives. Marketing is important to every consumer. People bear the costs of marketing through the price point. That's one of the 4 P's, one of the 4 elements of the marketing mix. Everyone buys or uses a product or service. People shop, they're exposed to advertising, and they provide information to businesses. So marketing is very important to your job as well. People have to market themselves. You have to get a job, you have to keep a job, you want to get promoted in your job, you want to get a new job. Marketing is essential. You have to market yourself. Marketing offers career opportunities in the field of marketing, and organizations exist to satisfy customers, and marketing contributes to success. Marketing also affects the standard of living throughout the world in all cultures. It stimulates research and innovation. New products are created, new services are created, improvements in products and services are accomplished, and overall all of this effort generates a higher standard of living. Now, marketing is key in the stimulation of ideas. And here we see an example of an advertisement from Procter & Gamble, who owns Pringles. And what are they trying to market here? There's a new idea for a consumer. This is a 100-calorie pack, 100 calories. It's a snack with the famous Pringles potato chip. We all have tried it at least once. And marketing, this is an example of how marketing stimulates research. It stimulates new ideas, new innovations. So creative marketing managers are always looking for innovative ideas for their products. Pringles has been around for decades, but now in a health-conscious society focused on the health of the product and the calorie count, there's a challenge to the marketing of this. So this ad highlights a calorie pack that only has 100 calories in it. So it offers calorie-conscious consumers the benefit of only consuming 100 calories in this snack, and it's just another means to address the needs that are being identified in the market. And if marketers must be tasked or challenged to stay ahead of competition, is one example. So what is marketing? It's more than selling. It's more than advertising. It's also a way to define marketing way too broadly. So there are 2 general alternative views. There's a micro view and a macro view. The micro view of marketing includes activities that anticipate customer needs, directs the flow of goods and services to the customers, and it's performed by individual organizations. So the micro view tends to be focused on the small side. The macro view, macro means large, micro means small. Macro view of marketing includes the social process that accomplishes the objectives of the society, effectively matches supply and demand at economy or market level or a country level, and it's concerned how marketing activities affect society and society affects marketing. So it tends to be a broader, macro, high level, large view. Okay. So there are key characteristics of marketing, and managerial marketing is done by nearly all organizations. And beyond that general definition, there are several specific aspects of marketing that we need to consider. First, marketing applies not only to profit-oriented companies, but also to non-profit organizations, universities, hospitals, governments at the state, local, federal levels. All of these organizations also are involved in marketing, and it's more than persuasion. Okay, it begins with the customer needs. Always begins with needs. It's not the production process. It does not do it alone or take the place of other business activities. It involves the exchange, and that means that consumers exchange something of value, such as money, to acquire something of value, something they need, a good or a service. So the customer exchanges money, his value, to get a product or service. And we build relationships that will lead to repeat purchases. So here's an example of an ad by Panasonic that's building a relationship. Panasonic is building a relationship with the military organization here. You see an aircraft, sophisticated surveillance aircraft on an aircraft carrier, and the marketing here is this computing device shows various technology, and the tagline is, it's not just a laptop, it's knowing each pilot's aircraft is fit to fly. So this suggestion is that the crew here will be in safe hands, the technology is okay, and this flight engineer is also working closely with this objective here via the technology. So in today's highly competitive markets, firms adopt the marketing concept, which we'll talk about later, and they seek better ways to build customer relationships that have an edge. Here, Panasonic developed the rugged Toughbook 29. That's what this is here. It's a laptop PC that can withstand drops, bangs, dust, and moisture. So you can see that it's industrial proof, and that builds a trustworthy relationship. So let's talk a moment about macro marketing. Macro marketing's emphasis tends to be on the entire whole marketing system and how it works. And there are some key characteristics. Every economy needs a macro marketing system because it really helps to match supply and demand. The different producers in a society have different objectives, different resources, different skills. Every consumer has a set of needs. The system must effectively match consumers and producers. Functions of an effective macro marketing system include that we have to deliver the goods and services that customers want and need. We've got to get products to them at the right time, in the right place, at the right price that they're willing to pay. And we've got to keep consumers satisfied after the sale and bringing them back to purchase again when they are ready. So it's different than micro marketing. But here's the key question. Can mass production satisfy a society's consumption needs? So marketing is needed to overcome the difference between maximizing production efficiency and the preferences people have for consuming products and services. So a key issue here is capturing economies of scale and achieving lower unit cost. So as production increases and using Six Sigma and getting the defect rate down, the cost of each unit of product decreases. Okay, so the marketing helps companies find more outlets, more channels to sell, and to move the products. Okay, so as output increases, which is along this horizontal axis, as it increases, the unit volume increases, the unit cost decreases. This is the key of economies of scale, and to achieve this cost efficiency, the marketing function must be working well. So the universal marketing functions help to narrow the gap, and these are performed in how they differ among different marketing economic systems. So we, the marketeers, bridge the gaps between the producers and the consumers. So the producers want to generate high volume, lots of output, drive the unit cost down, and consumers need to consume it. But unless the marketing function is working well, consumers may not even be aware of what the producers are producing. So here we have to overcome various differences, and this is an example of a spatial separation. And we'll talk a few minutes about this in many contexts. But let's look at this advertisement. DirecTV delivers entertainment via television in cable or HDTV or some delivery mechanism. So in this ad, we see an upscale setting for a dinner environment, and here is the television programming module, and so it's serving television's most upscale viewers. But what is this? What are we trying to talk about here? The difference between the production sector and the consumption sector are accomplished through marketing, but there are discrepancies, which means differences, and there are separations, and marketing overcomes these. So let's understand this. Discrepancies of quality and discrepancies of assortment complicate this whole situation. Okay, so the production sector up here specializes in what? It specializes in the way products are made, the division of labor, and supply capabilities. The consumption sector here is demand for different goods and services, and when and where they need to be to satisfy needs and wants. So there are discrepancies of quantity, and this means that manufacturers or producers up here want to produce and sell in very large quantities, but the consumers, which is the consumption sector, want to buy and consume in small quantities. So what's an example? Toyota makes tens of thousands of vehicles, but a consumer only needs one vehicle. So that's a discrepancy in quantity. There's discrepancies, which means differences, right? Discrepancy means difference of assortment. Producers specialize in producing a narrow assortment of goods and services, but consumers need a broad assortment. I mean, Henry Ford wanted to create just one vehicle, and if you only have to create one product, you can get great economies of scale. However, consumers tend to want an assortment. So there is a difference, there is a discrepancy. Producers want to specialize in very narrow assortment, but consumers need a broad assortment. Spatial separation, which we just saw, producers tend to locate where it is economically best to produce. Then what's that? Where there's low taxes, low labor, without complications of legal, regulatory matters. So producers tend to locate where it's in their best interest financially. But consumers are located anywhere. They're spread all over the world, all over the markets, from cities to the countryside. So there is a separation in space. There's a separation in time. Consumers may not want to consume goods and services at the time the producers want them to, and time may be required to transport goods from the producer to the consumer. So there's always a separation in time. Separation of information. Producers do not know who needs what, who needs it where, who needs it when, and at what price. Producers generally don't know. They have an idea, but they don't know. Consumers do not know what is available from whom, where, when, and at what price. So there's a separation of information. We got to link the knowledge sets together. Separation in values. Producers value goods and services in terms and costs and competitive prices. Consumers value them in terms of satisfying their needs and their ability to pay them. So there's a difference. There's a separation of value. There's a separation of ownership. Producers hold the title and the risk to the goods and services that they themselves don't want to consume, but they hold the title. They own it. Consumers want the goods and services that they do not own. So there's a separation of ownership. Universal functions of marketing are the following, and they help define the macro marketing system and help them overcome the separations and discrepancies we just talked about. And the ultimate here is to have an exchange, so an exchange of value. So the consumer is going to pay money to a manufacturer to get a good or a service. So the fulfillment of these functions in a country or culture varies widely, but all the functions are needed in a macro marketing system. Buying and selling. Buying is the looking for and the evaluation of goods and services. Selling is the promotion of the product to the prospective buyers. Transporting, you got to move the products from place to place. Storing, you got to hold an inventory of goods until it's needed by the customers. Standardization and grading, as we sort products by size and quality, we want standardized reference points. Financing is when it comes to providing the cash and the credit to produce, transport, store, promote, sell, and buy the products. And we have risk-taking. So that's assuming the responsibility for uncertainties. Right? And lastly, we got to get market information. So we got to collect, analyze, distribute all the information the marketer needs to plan, implement, and control need-satisfying marketing activities. So all of this, these are the universal functions of marketing. So who performs all these marketing functions? Well, you're going to find that in principle, everybody here does. Individuals and organizations perform the marketing functions. So it's often easiest to think of producers up here, such as manufacturers or makers of products and providers of intangible services. However, there are many other people who are performing marketing. There are intermediaries, so firms that specialize in trade rather than produce and execute tasks related to buying and selling. There are collaborators, and these firms aid in the exchange process and provide marketing functions other than buying and selling. So these collaborators are the advertising agencies, the marketing research firms, the independent product testing labs, internet service providers, transportation firms. These are all considered collaborators. So we have intermediaries, we have collaborators, and the universal functions of marketing need to perform by someone. And there can be specialization in the performance of these functions. And they're shifted and performed by various players here. So we've got the producers and the consumers, and here we have intermediaries and collaborators. So all of these are involved in the marketing function. So how are decisions made in an economic system? And this is interesting because every society needs an economic system, and that's the way an economy organizes to use its resources. And there is a scarce resource in production and consumption. And depending upon the type of economic system, decisions are made about resource allocation and they're made differently. So the key issues here are, is it a command economy or a market-directed economy? So in the command economy, that's like the old Soviet Union or Cuba or North Korea or China under the former regime of Mao. Those were command economies, and government officials made decisions about production and distribution. And it can work well in simple economies when there's not much of a variety of goods and services, and it works under very adverse conditions or war conditions or very, very difficult times. But in the market-directed economy, the drivers tend to be individuals. Individual people govern resource allocation, production, and consumption. So the characteristics of a market-directed economy include, first of all, it adjusts itself. The economy adjusts itself. Price is the value of measure. Consumers pay what they think things are worth. Producers try to meet those price expectations. So the greatest freedom of choice. So there's less intervention from government planners. More choices are available to producers and consumers. And the role of government is to ensure fairness and the common good. So let's look at the model of a market-directed macro marketing system. There are many individual producers. It's a heterogeneous supply. And this is indicative of the U.S. economy and most G8 economies in Europe. They're mainly market-directed, but not completely. Society assigns supervision of the system to the government. You can see intermediaries, collaborators, which we just talked about. These perform the universal marketing functions. Why? To overcome discrepancies in the separation of producers and consumers. Got to create value and direct the flow of goods and services. So here we see that here are the producers, here are the consumers. We have to direct that. And it tends to be monitored by government and public interest groups. So that's the model of a macro marketing system. So marketing's role has changed dramatically over time. Long ago, it used to be an era called the simple trade area, and the whole focus was on selling surplus goods. Then came the production area, which was more of a focus on increasing supply. Then we evolved to the sales area, and the whole focus then was beat the competition, beat them on features and functions. Then we matured to a step called the marketing department area, and that was one of coordination and control, marketing separated from the sales function. And now we find ourselves in the marketing company era, and it tends to focus on the long run and customer satisfaction. So any organizations that are still back in the sales era or production era way of thinking are probably in trouble, and they're questionable as far as their ongoing concern. They're just not going to make it in the long term for the most part. So what is the marketing concept about? And that's going to be the basis of much of this entire course. Well, the cornerstone of the market-oriented company is what's called the marketing concept. So there is a production orientation, which means that the focus is making whatever products are easy to produce and trying to sell them. That's a production-oriented mindset. There is a marketing-oriented mindset, and that's designing marketing programs that will meet customer needs. And then there is the ultimate, which is the marketing concept, which puts customer satisfaction at top level. It guides the whole organization. It's a total company effort, and all individuals work together to accomplish this goal. So let's take a moment here and look at an advertisement and see if we can pull it up. We'll pull it up later. Okay. So here we are creating customer satisfaction. And how are we doing it? Well, what's the tagline? When it's your baby, there are no little coughs and colds, just little remedies. So the manufacturing company is Prestige Brands Holdings. The product is medicines or pain relievers for children. That's why little colds, little noses, little fevers. Little means a little person, right? So it's ads from Little Remedies, and it demonstrates that the company is trying to create customer satisfaction by creating or catering to the parent's needs, because when a parent has a sick child, they're very concerned. And so this is not only focusing on the child needs, it's also focusing on his mother and father's needs. So this offers infants and children's products that are free of unnecessary additives. So it's a natural product. There's no alcohol or artificial flavors or dyes or harmful preservatives in these products. I mean, it meets the needs of people who want specific medical care for their infants and children, and it offers everything that infants and children need. Nothing they don't. So let's take a moment and check our knowledge here. We got a store that is very popular with newlyweds, and it runs a wedding gift service. So 5 minutes before closing time on a Sunday, a young couple enters the store and wants to register and get acquainted, and the process usually takes 30 minutes. But a sales associate tells the couple to come back when they have more time, even though a recent memo from the store's regional manager specifically instructed the store personnel to stay after closing time to help customers. So which is the key element of the marketing concept here? So again, we've got a prospective customer coming in 5 minutes before closing time, and the sales associates are saying, come back later, different day, before, at a time just before, not just before closing. So the marketing concept means that an organization aims all of its efforts to satisfy its customers at a profit. So there are three basic ideas included in the definition. One is, got to have customer satisfaction. It's got to be a total company effort, and there must be a profit. So the best one here is, what's the main problem here? The total company effort is missing, right? It's missing. So they're missing the profit, they're missing the total company effort, and they're missing customer satisfaction. So they missed all three elements of the total company effort. Now, let's just look at another ad. So many organizations make the change, make the transition to the marketing concept, and all types of organizations and all types of industries are embracing this. And it penetrates organizations of all types. And here we have an example of FedEx. Here the consumer product companies generally were first to accept the marketing concept, and then service industries are catching up. So FedEx is a service firm, and here they're showing that they understand the marketing concept. So it's easy for firms to slip back into production orientation if they're not careful, because it's often difficult to keep up with changing customer needs, beat the aggressive competitors, fight for the right focus, and offer customers superior value. So here we see FedEx saying that now flying to more places in Europe. So it's trying to embrace the marketing concept and reach out and make sure customer satisfaction with the total company effort at a profit is occurring. So what is the marketing concept and customer value? Here, it's important or useful to take the customer's point of view. So we need to step into the customer's shoes and understand that he's thinking about costs and benefits for an exchange. So he's going to give his money away, and he better receive benefits, or it needs to satisfy his needs or his wants. So customer value is the difference between the benefits a customer sees from a marketing offering and the costs of obtaining those benefits. So different customers may see the benefits and costs in different ways. The customer may not always dwell on value as a key determinant of the buying behavior. So a customer is more satisfied when the customer value is higher and benefits exceed costs by a large amount. So where does competition fit? Customer value builds relationships. Okay? So all of these are essential when it comes to the customer value and the marketing concept. And the next exhibit shows costs and benefits in the customer value. A consumer or customer is more likely to be satisfied when the customer value is higher, up here, when the benefits exceed the costs by a large margin. Right? On the other hand, if a consumer sees costs as greater than the benefits, then he's not going to be a customer, or he won't remain a customer. So, let's move on. Let's check our knowledge again. Which of the following statements made by marketing managers shows the understanding of a customer value? It's more important to acquire new customers than to retain old ones. Well, that's not correct. The only time it's really necessary to demonstrate superior customer value is right before the actual sale. Well, that's not true. My main concern is with meeting this month's sales quota. I'll worry about relationship building later. No, that's not good. I might think my product is a good value, but what really counts is if the customer thinks it's a good value. So here we go. This is a manager who adopts the marketing concept. He sees that customer satisfaction is the path to profit. So this is it. Selection D is the best option because it's the only one that clearly identifies the importance of the customer's point of view. Right? Let's do another knowledge check here. So we've got a computer manufacturer who is attempting to increase the customer value associated with purchases of its products. So which of the following might be a way to achieve this increase in value? Should he reduce price? Should it increase technical support for customers? Increase warranty coverage? Offer free shipping? Or any of the above, depending on the needs of the market. So really it's letter E. So the concept of customer value is the difference between the benefits a customer sees from a marketing offering and the costs of obtaining those benefits. So E is the best option because A through D are possible ways to increase the value. So let's put this all together. And what does this mean? So this model summarizes the important ideas presented so far. And if a firm has adopted the marketing concept, everyone focuses on customer satisfaction. The organization offers superior customer value, and then the value in turn helps attract customers and keeps them satisfied after they buy. And this satisfaction then leads to repeat purchase and most likely purchases of other products offered by the firm. And this firm builds profitable relationships with its customers. So adopting the marketing concept is a win-win situation for both marketers and consumers. Now, not only is the marketing concept essential for profit-oriented companies, but it's also essential for nonprofits such as museums, libraries, charities, political parties, governments at all levels, universities, hospitals. And the key issues here are that nonprofit organizations are relatively new to marketing. Profit organizations have always needed marketing, but nonprofits are new to marketing, and they have a different idea of support and satisfied customers than businesses do. Many nonprofits exist to accomplish a goal that's unrelated to traditional customer satisfaction, and many nonprofits raise money from non-customer groups and then spend it on other customers. They may not have a traditional bottom line economic measure of success. So nonprofit organizations are generally not organized for a marketing mindset, but it's coming, it's evolving. You see this now more and more. And you even see it as in the next slide. Governments are using marketing to reach out to its constituency, to its population for various reasons. And here we see an example of the United States Post Office. It's a government agency, and it's got increased competition from traditional profit-oriented delivery and transportation service firms like FedEx and UPS. So the U.S. Postal Service promotes its services when firms are trying to target personalized communications and help develop closer customer relationships. So the marketing concept, social responsibility, and marketing ethics. We would be negligent if we didn't include ethics in our discussion. Organizations implement the marketing concept in a broad context of society, and there are times when society's needs directly conflict with the needs of a particular individual or group. So we have a micro and a macro dilemma. So there's some key issues here. Social responsibility. This is an obligation to improve the organization's positive effects on society. Right? Businesses have to strive to reach acceptable balances. Should all consumer needs be satisfied? Some products that many people use are not good for them. Marketers must rely on legal and ethical standards in making decisions. Do all marketers act responsibly? Sometimes firms or individuals advance their own short-term interests at the expense of customers. When products are complicated, consumers may be vulnerable to unscrupulous sellers. And what if profits suffer? Some marketers are adopting a longer-term view. Customer satisfaction goes beyond fulfilling an immediate need. All of these are key issues. So let's look at an advertisement, a promotion. Here is an example of the micro-macro dilemma. What is good for some firms and consumers may not be good for the society as a whole. Here we have an environmental organization called EarthShare trying to promote the preservation of the environment as a society's goal. Society might benefit from having more open spaces. This could slow economic growth. It could also harm individuals who want to use their land as they see fit. These are not easy questions to resolve. So this is an example of the micro-macro dilemma. So what you should now be able to do is, now you understand what marketing is, why you should spend time learning it. You've seen the difference between marketing and macro marketing. You've seen what marketing specialists do, intermediaries and collaborators are. You understand what a market-driven economy is and how it adjusts to a macro marketing system. Now you know what the marketing concept is, the essence of customer satisfaction and customer value, and we've also got to follow marketing ethics as it relates to the marketing concept.